I go back and forth about bikes. I get excited one day about a bike, and then I remember that I always wanted a X particular bike, or maybe there's a story about a bike that I wanted in the past that I was not able to get. And that's why today is so important to me. This is not particularly a pretty bike. If I were to compare it to, Husqvarna's or the one that I just had or any of my other bikes like this, there's nothing really super special about this bike, but there's something special to me about it. If you're like me, chances are you're probably spending a lot of time thinking about bikes. And there's nothing special really about this bike, although there's stuff that are special about this bike. And I always wanted to have this bike, and somehow when I had the chance and the opportunity, it was not on my radar. And the one time that I wanted to get it, something got in the way and I was not able to get it. So I just felt like, after 60 some bikes, it was about time for me just to get one. The thing I just realized is, and I may have mentioned this before, but when I purchased the bike, I envisioned myself, when you were little and you had conversations or arguments with people in front of the mirror, like, oh, I'm gonna say you this, I'm gonna tell you this, blah, 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 whatever. Maybe you can't relate it. If you can, I'm sorry, because that's stuff that I used to do in the past. So, long story short, I buy a bike and I envision myself telling the story to other people and what the bike means for me. Why did I get it? Why is it so special? And sometimes I can't even tell. But somehow I'm excited about this bike. With time, I just realized that bikes, they need to speak to me. And sometimes I really pay attention to why they speak to me, and do they speak to me alone? Is people agree with me about the bike? Is it good or not? I don't know. Like, it's kind of hard to say. But then I kind of look back and try to make sense of my decisions, and sometimes I can. But then when I get on it, that's when things kind of started to make sense, and I feel like, I think I know what I got it. All right, so this is me going through buyer's remorse. So I buy something that I'm super convinced about. I do a lot of like research and I know exactly what I want, but then I think about it again and I don't want it anymore. And then I start looking for modifications and I realize that that bike has the modifications that I really want. And then I go through that same cycle again. And then I purchase the bike. And then when I purchase the bike, I start having doubts. And then I have doubts. And then my wife started to make fun of me. And then I keep doing that cycle. And that cycle keeps repeating itself over and over again. It doesn't make sense. You know what? It does make sense. When you like a bike and you think about always wanting and owning one, doesn't matter. I got the bike and I'm going to live through it. And I'm going to live with it and I'm going to make it my own. You know what's going on? This is bike number 70 or something in the last 15 years. And yeah, at this point, I'm just looking for experiences. I'm looking for ways to continue to learn something new about bikes. And the more I appreciate bikes and I learn about bikes, the more I want to discover what exactly brought me into bikes. And there were bikes that were new at the time that I started purchasing bikes that I was not able to afford, but they are now becoming accessible, some of them, and allow me to go through the experience or the bikes that I was not able to have when they were new, when I started purchasing bikes and kind of growing that interest into getting bikes. That's why I got this bike. I got this bike because I wanted something with a bigger engine, and I also wanted something that I can go places and create memories and continue to learn. And that's why I'm excited about it. I'm excited because I'm going to be learning new things, and I'm excited because I have a new bike that I can make my own, and I can make changes without really thinking too much about it. Because one thing I hate is having a new bike that you just can put a bunch of like buttons because you don't want to touch it. I like all bikes where I can do whatever I want without regrets, and this is the type of bike that's going to provide that sensation and experience for me. So now that I just finished with my monologue, now I can introduce you formally to my 2004 Yamaha FZ1S. So this is a great bike, and this is a great bike because it's a 4-cylinder 1000cc. I've had plenty of Yamaha's MT-09s, Yamaha Bolt. I have 3 MT-09s, and I feel like this bike is a retro, kind of going back into the day. I actually have carburetors. What did I just say? I actually have carbs, which I had a turbo bike with carbs in the past, which is amazing. So I can see myself doing something like that again. But I mean, this bike is so comfortable. I'm gonna show it to you. I don't like the way the bike looks right now, but I'm gonna make it my own, and I'm going to be able to put on display my skills of painting, changing stuff to make it my own, playing with the bike suspension so I can make it exactly handle like I want to, and then I'm going to take it for a rep and just enjoy it as much as I can. I am super excited about this project, and some of the things that I'm going to be doing besides making the bike my own is to modernize the bike. There's some elements that we can use to kind of bring it to 2025, and some of that is adding a quick shifter, which Anytor already jumped on the project, so I'm just waiting for part 2 to arrive so I can install the Anytor quick shifter. Since this is a carbureted bike, I'm not going to be using fuel to kill the bike in order to allow for those upshifts. So we're going to be using spark. So I'll be removing that and getting into that project later on. But essentially, I'm looking to do a lot of like aesthetic changes that are going to be making the bike my own and kind of making it feel a little bit more modern. And then in addition to the quick shifter, that's going to make it look great. I want you to please share with me the modifications, because you know what? I've had a few Yamahas and I know exactly what to do with a lot of the MT-09s. I just don't know exactly what works. I don't know if people are still using Ivan's carb reject kit or stuff like that. I have no idea. So I'm really excited to jump on that type of train again and kind of get into the modifications. I'm probably going to be putting clip-ons, maybe different bars, just so I can clean this up and kind of make it a little bit look better, even in the cockpit. I might even remove this and make it a Street Fighter. I don't know, but I want you to get excited about it, and I want you to share your ideas with me, because I am super looking forward to this project and what this project can become. And hopefully I don't sell it, because I really like it. Thank you for watching. All right, so this is my first time actually going for a couple hours kind of ride. So I feel good about the bike. Bike feels great, feels so much, powerful. I've had some other bikes with much power than this, but torque feels somewhat instant. There's still some delay that comes from, bike being carbureted. So, you get used to fuel injected bikes, and you can kind of rev the bike up and you kind of get that instant, power. And on this bike, you get the power, but it takes a second, because, there's kind of a little bit of a delay if you I guess if you can call it like that, and whenever you kind of open the throttle and the bike kind of starts. Overall, bike feels great. At this point, I'm actually stopping at this corner, and it's so funny because you see me waving, because I actually spotted my wife kind of going through the intersection, and I was like, hey, can you take a look at me? I'm here, just saying hi. And my wife never saw me, and right away I started using the throttle to see if maybe the exhaust, maybe she can hear it, and maybe that kind of gets her attention to look at me. And all of a sudden, bike is dead. I have no idea what's going on. So bike just went dead. As you can tell, dash is not coming on. There's nothing, on the light. So this is when I decided that, okay, cool, like nothing that I can do right now. So I just have to push the bike and kind of get it out of the way, because I actually had a couple cars right behind me. To be quite honest, even for such a big bike, it was not that difficult just to kind of get it on the sidewalk and then just kind of going through the dirt. It didn't feel like sketchy or anything. So I'm just kind of looking for a place where I can, find some rocks that I can put my stand on, making sure that the stand is just not going to go through the dirt and my bike's going to end up on the ground. And then just so I can do some troubleshooting. Luckily, I'm pretty close to my house, so I can, even if I can get the bike running, I can still, get my trailer and kind of trailer the bike home, which is exactly what I did, because the bike is completely dead. And I was checking the fuses. I couldn't find anything at the time. I started kind of playing with like cables, checking. It seems like it's either battery or something else. So I'm just gonna take the bike home, and I'm going to put it on my trailer and then start troubleshooting. So not what I had planned in my head, but to be honest, this is what I do. You know, these are the bikes that I purchase, and I know there's a risk when you buy someone else's kind of, I don't want to say call it project, but someone else's bike. So it happens. So at this point, I'm going to be troubleshooting. Hopefully I can bring you with me so you can kind of see what happened. Maybe something like that were to happen to you, you exactly know how to fix it. And yeah, we'll learn together. And you know, nothing crazy here. I'm just gonna continue moving forward. I'm just gonna troubleshoot it. Hopefully I can share it with you, so hopefully you can share and actually learn something from this whole situation, and I'll continue with work. Thank you again for watching. New project bike, going amazing. This is definitely not what I had in mind when I took my bike out for first spin. Ay, ay, ay.